So, I may not know how to spell prescriptions, but this thing is ruining your life. And let me show you why. Because there are how-tos from people that are close to you, or they're just in a regular relationship like your friend, right? And your friend's giving advice onto your life, right? This is your life right here. And this circle here determines how much you can integrate that, right? So he's giving out advice that's actionable for him. And this guy's reality is here, but he's giving out your response to a certain problem. And if you apply that advice, this problem will not necessarily go away. It may come up again, and the best thing that you can do is to follow that advice. And that is not particularly very well, because other people's reality is not your own reality. The little details from your own life, the little childhood moments, aren't conveyed to this guy, right? He's not able to percept the way that you lived your life. Nobody can literally step into exactly the way you lived your life. So, prescriptions don't work. And now you may know some other people who are looking for is first principles. And yes, first principles are a great tool to, maybe perhaps start a business. And first principles is not going to work though. And let me show you exactly why. Hold up. Had a cough for a few days, so my voice isn't particularly good. All right, so exactly how first principles don't work on your life. It is because first principles only inflict a little bit of problem solving. But what you have here, right, problem solving. You may be having a car, right, and it's needed to be fixed, and some part, the tire deflates, and it's poked a hole, or somebody poked a hole in it, and you have to get it fixed. And now, first principles, they fix it through, changing the tire or disassembling everything and looking at the fundamental, how do I inflate the tire? Super easy. But your life, it's not as simple as problem solving. Because problems, they're trying to solve the circumstance. And you yourself is self-conflict. And self-conflict can't be solved from circumstances, because your circumstance only reveals the self-conflict that you already have. This might be triggering for some people because, they're blaming everything onto the circumstance. But the reason you're watching this video is probably because you want to change your whole life. And there's no problem with trying to change your circumstance, because fundamentally, if you get 3 parts of your life right, it's health, wealth, relationships. As Alex Samosi said, all of these 3 parts are battlefields, and they're, integrated into your life. Whether you want it or not, you have to battle against these 3 problems. And if you're trying to solve one of these problems, or a specific problem, trying to solve a specific problem is great from first principles, right? And specific problems fit into each. Each specific problem might be you're in a relationship and you're looking for love. And you're not wealthy yet, so you want to start a business. and you're not healthy yet, so you might start exercising. And specific problems might be, how do I start boxing? This is actually a boxing gym, so, filming something in boxing gyms aren't great, but it is what it is. So, how do you start boxing? This is a specific problem. How do you land a client? And how do you how do you get somebody to fall in love? These are specific problems. And first principles are great to solving these problems. Except that once these problems are solved, they're coming up again, right? You might fall in love once and have to, change the girlfriend that you already have, and the second girlfriend may not even be as good as the first one. And you might start boxing, but only for one period of your life where you feel like motivated, so-called inspired to start boxing. And you might only start trying to land clients for, say, 1 month. And these aren't bad things. They're great that you're trying to start something. It's even greater that in that period of your life, you're starting it for 1 month, or doing boxing for a few days, or trying to get somebody to fall in love with you, or actively trying to improve your life. Now, not saying that these don't work. It's just these first principles are not going to get what they want, right? You're not going to get what you want from using first principles. You want to look at what principles are true to your life and your life only. And this is what makes you special. This is what is so-called authentic, because your ability to have or develop your own principles is the way that you can so-called improve your life, because they're the basic fundamental decision making skills. This is why inspiration doesn't last. This is why motivation doesn't last. And I'm not trying to inspire you or motivate you here. This is just breaking everything down to its most basic fundamental and trying to look at exactly how do I improve my decision-making skills, which is just judgment. Right? If you're trying to improve your judgment, it may be that you have to look at the list of principles that you have to list out exactly how to solve a problem. And this is only special to your own life, because nobody can teach you, what principles are. I'm not trying to teach you what principles are. I'm trying to teach you how to figure them out. How do you figure out principles? Principles are how you figure out a problem. And how to decide how to solve it. It's based on the how. And if we look into exactly why that is that principles work, it's because it improves your overall judgment, which makes your getting rid of everything else that is just a fluff on the outside, right? The deepest level is improving your judgment, right? Because why does old people always look at people differently? And why do they always have such accurate perceptions of people? This might be because that having look at people so many years, they developed something called specific judgment in order for them to survive in this world. We can call that wisdom or experience, right? They've developed their own principles. Whether they realize it or not, they've developed some kind of principles, because the longer you live, the more judgment